Hi there, students. Apogee. Okay, apogee, a noun. Um, it means something that is at its highest point. It's at its very maximum. So, I don't know, the British Empire was at its apogee in the 19th century. Um, I guess Elvis was at his apogee in the late 50s and early 60s. Um, this author was in his apogee at the end of last year. So at its maximum point, at its most popular, most powerful, yeah, at its apex, in its heyday, yeah, at its zenith, yeah, at its top point. Okay, so if something's at its apogee, it's at its highest. I guess the Soviet Union was in its apogee in the maybe 1970s. I don't know. Probably that's a matter of opinion. Let's see. The US has passed its apogee, and I think the new force to reckon with is the Chinese. Um, so, apogee, when you're at your most famous, when you're in your strength, yeah, at your maximum, at the highest point in development. I don't know. Yes, I was doing this the other day. Uh, Baroque architecture was at its apogee in the 17th century. It was at its high point. Now, the real meaning of this word apogee is is talking about when something orbits the Earth or orbits the Sun. I think it's talking about the orbit of a planet or the orbit of something when it's farthest away from Earth. So when the moon is the most distant from the Earth, it's at its apogee. And we actually have the opposite to this. It's perigee, when the moon is closest to Earth. Yeah? So the apogee is the point in an orbit around a planet when it's furthest from the planet. Yeah? But well, that's terribly technical, and we use apogee to mean something at its high point. Yeah, a culture, a business. I don't know. I get the feeling that IBM was at its apogee in the 1960s and maybe 1970s. It was as at its greatest. Yeah, it was the at its most important point. Yes, a his his speech was the apogee of incitement to racist hatred. Yeah. When you are young, maybe you're at your apogee of strength, but the apogee of your mind comes later. Okay, you reach the apogee of your power, the most important bit when you're at your very best. I don't know, the apogee of artistic development, the apogee of the Byzantine Empire. Um, the campaign reached its apogee in the late 90s. So it was at its summit, at its pinnacle, yeah, at its apex, at its acme as well would be a good word. Okay, so it's just something at its highest point, at its most important. Yeah. So formality. Apogee. This is a formal word. I think I'm going to give it 7.5 in formality. Use it in a semi-formal writing. Use it in something formal. I think if you used it in an informal conversation, people may or may not understand it. They probably will, yeah. But yeah, in an informal conversation, at its maximum, at its high point, yeah, at its most important, something like that. And then as to origin, it's one of these words that's come from French, from Latin, and originally from ancient Greek. Apogeon, meaning away from the earth, apo, away, and ge, the earth itself, so away from earth. And that's the real meaning when something orbiting a planet is the furthest away. Yeah, so with this, yeah, I guess a spacecraft could be at its apogee if it's orbiting the earth as well. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Apogee.